Good morning, everybody. I'm Dave. Let's do it. We'll hit the local PC button. There we are. There you go. I'm from Wirestorm. I'm here today to talk about system monitoring with SDVoE. So we, of course, make an SDVoE product. Stands to reason. We call it the 600 series. We make transmitters. We make receivers. They do things like video walls. They do multi-view displays, right? Lots of people make these products. There's no doubt about it. But now what we want to talk about is system monitoring. And system monitoring really all starts with a good API. As a manufacturer, I have to decide what I'm going to tell you is going on. What information am I going to make available to somebody? That's the whole idea behind the API. So without a good API, you really can't do any system monitoring, or the system monitoring you're going to do is going to be very limited, right? So we take a look at the basics. Right? Somebody says, hey, I need system monitoring. Okay, we go to the basics. Is it on? Is it off? Seems fair enough that I should tell you whether I'm on or off, right? What's the IP address, etc., those kind of things, right? Am I in video wall mode? What multi-view streams am I looking at? All those basic kind of things, right? What am I doing? Seems reasonable enough. However, then we start looking at it and say, if you really want to monitor a solution, what is it that you really want to monitor? And we started saying, we need to bring those things out and make them available for somebody. So what things do you really want to monitor? What stream is the receiver looking at? In other words, what source is being displayed? Fair enough question, right? What's the data rate? What type of data is getting there? I might want to know that for some reason. How much packet loss is going on? Right? All of a sudden I see high packet loss. I've got a problem in my network somewhere. Don't you think I should monitor that to then be able to respond to it, right? And the only way you can monitor it is if I make it available as part of the system, right? What about source resolutions? What's the resolution coming in from my source? What's the resolution of my display, right? If I go to the not even the residential side, but the cable side of the business, the cable company decides that they need to reboot the cable box in the middle of the night, because that's what they do every once a week or so, right? Well, the cable box comes back up and decides it wants to be at 480 because it didn't know something or got confused, right? Hey, unless you know the cable box is at 480, how do you know what your problem is in the system? I know what the resolution is that's coming from the source, but if I don't tell you through the API, how would you even know, right? What's the display resolution? Same type of thing. Something changes there, I got to know. Is a source or display connected? As part of the HDMI standard, there's something called hot plug detect. Why don't I take the hot plug detect information and bring it out to the API to tell you if there's a physical cable there? How many times have anybody made a service call because somebody went into a conference room and thought they knew what they were doing and yanked the HDMI cable out of the display? Right? Or, sorry, how many people didn't want to be seen and put a piece of paper or a cloth over the camera from the video conferencing system? Right? There are all these physical things. I can't stop the camera, but all of a sudden, if you pull that cable out, I know you pulled the cable out. Right? All right, so there it is. I brought all these features out. Now they're available on my API. And that's kind of it. Now I say, okay, here's my API. Look, I got all these features. Now I can take all that information, I can give it to a programmer can start writing code. And amazingly enough, if it's a Crestron solution that you're using, it goes into Fusion. If it's an AMX solution that you're using, it goes into RMS. It goes into Utalogy. It goes into QSC. It goes into wherever it goes, right? But the monitoring software is really not built out for it. Somebody's got to add all those things to the software tool. They have to connect all that stuff up. And in a lot of cases, that information doesn't always get translated all the way to the programmer, right? We had these great goals of we want to monitor everything, but when we get the solution, can we monitor everything? So there's a lot of work, but what if it doesn't get done? If it doesn't get done, we're kind of stuck, right? And in a lot of cases, that's what, over the years, that's what I've seen is Great goals, but then ultimately so many people involved, so many different tiers, the messages aren't getting through, the results aren't getting to where we need to be. So what we did was we partnered with Domotes. You don't have to use Domotes. You can go ahead and write it in Fusion. You can write it in RMS, whatever makes you happy. We partnered with Domotes because it's done. So the beauty of Domotes is they already have a full system monitoring solution. Everything is already built. All those features are already in there and done. It is amazingly easy to deploy. There, as they call it, agent. It comes preloaded on a little box. You can buy the whole box and drop it in. You can download the agent for free and put it on a server or a PC and run it. You can actually load it on a Raspberry Pi and run it on the Raspberry Pi. And it's done. And everything is done for you. So I can just drop it in and away it goes and it runs. So that, to me, that's kind of the easy of it, right? It's easy to deploy. Cost is almost nothing. It's easy to deploy. I think the monthly, it's cloud-based, so there are monthly fees on it. I think the monthly fees start at like $3 a month. Per box, which means per system or per building. It gets pretty crazy by the time it's done. Not per job necessarily. I think Crestron announced that they're going to have Domotes built into some of their processors now, right? So just buy one of those and it's already in there. It's kind of a simple, easy solution. It monitors the entire system, not just Wirestorm products, not just Crestron products, everything that's on the network it will discover, which is really kind of cool. Every day they're partnering with more and more manufacturers. The more manufacturers they partner with, the more tiles you're going to get, which brings you the advanced features. What we did was we built a Wirestorm tile within their environment, right? They can identify our products, and now what they can do is not only monitor the entire system and log all the data, but now we get remote system support as well. So we can actually remotely go in and address things and change things for you. All right, so here's an example of what our Wirestorm tile looks like. It shows you all the Wirestorm product, tells you the IP address, you can see exactly where they are. What I really want to do is drill into some of the data here. As you can see, the data that I have here shows me what my bitrate error is, what's running, do I have HDCP on or off, all those good kind of things, especially if there was a problem. Now, I have the ability to go into my tools and say, I want to set a flag that says, when the frame per second changes from 60 frames, send me an alert. If hot plug detect drops, send me an alert. So all this is monitored, and I can be alerted on any of the changes that occur in here. And yes, it runs on a phone. So they have an app for iOS and Android, and you will get a message on your phone. You'll get emails as well as alert push notifications that say something is wrong. Somebody pulls a cable out, I get a push notification. It's pretty much that easy. And that's the thing, it's already built, it's done, it's all in there ready to go. I even actually show you the routes. So I can go in and I can see that source is routed to these two destinations. I don't let you change the routes because people are doing stuff, right? But you can actually see graphically where everything's routed, so you can at least know the right thing's going to the right place. Right? Of course, if there's trouble, if something's going on, a user from wherever they are in the world on their laptop can start a remote session, and they can actually tunnel into the product, and then from their laptop, they can control, load firmware, do whatever they need to do. In our world, we call it console. So we can run the console and do whatever we need to do to the system remotely without having a laptop on site or a person on site or anything. Even better than that, if somebody's working on the system and they have a problem, part of it includes manufacturer support. If I click the manufacturer support button, you can now give control to us. It'll appear in the Wirestorm stack, and Wirestorm can tunnel directly into your customer's facility and repair whatever that is without you even being on site. So when we looked at all the different solutions that were out there, we kind of felt that Domotes was built. it was done. That's how we ended up here. Of course, you can go and build it through an API, write it into Fusion. Nothing here that I did you can't do anywhere else. But does everybody have an iOS app that they can monitor all on their phone? No, right? So it really starts with the API. That's the core thing that makes it happen, is you got to bring it out so that people have that data. But we said we got to take it farther. Just bringing that out doesn't get it far enough for most people. That's why we partnered with Domotes, because they did the hard work. They built the apps. They built the cloud-based system. They built everything that's there. So it makes it very easy to deploy. And in real time, I get all the information. And of course, I got massive support to go with it, including direct manufacturer support. So that's our approach. That's our thought. That's my 10 minutes, 20 minutes.